We acknowledge the sacred land on which Victoria University operates, and we pay respect to those who came before. The site on which Victoria University stands has been a site of human activity for many thousands of years. It is the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, the meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to strive to make right with all our relations. We are grateful to have the opportunity to study, live, love, and work in the community and on this territory.
Welcome. Bienvenue. Kiminwa Nikonawa. Welcome to the virtual celebration of Victoria University's Charter Day. My name is William Robbins, and it's my pleasure to serve as the president of Victoria University. It's also my privilege to congratulate the students whom we honor at today's ceremony for their exceptional academic accomplishments. The time and effort that you have put into cultivating your intellectual curiosity inspires admiration and pride among all of us. Charter Day marks the granting to Victoria University of a royal charter from King William IV in 1836, 185 years ago. It was the first charter ever given by the British government to an educational institution that was not part of the established church. The charter was signed on Wednesday, October 12th, and so Charter Day has been held on a Wednesday close to the 12th of October every year since. Charter Day is also our opportunity to acknowledge and congratulate our Victoria College scholarship winners. Welcome to the students whose accomplishments we are celebrating today. And welcome to the friends and family members who have supported these impressive students throughout their academic journeys. Victoria College introduced its first scholarships in 1851. At that time, a severe economic and agricultural crisis had made it difficult for families in Ontario, especially farming families around Cobourg, where Victoria College was then located, to afford the cost of tuition. Victoria committed to a concerted effort to fundraise across the province to establish an endowment fund for scholarships to keep tuition low and to ensure that the college was accessible to as many families as possible. The fundraising was a success, and over the last 150 years, the scholarship endowment has grown and grown. This is thanks to thousands of donors who have believed in this cause, many of whose names appear in the named scholarships received by many of our students. The Victoria University Board of Regents and Administration also have committed to abiding support for scholarships. In 1991, Victoria inaugurated its in-course guarantee of a scholarship for students who obtain an A average, the only institution in Canada to make such a commitment. Now, if you had been a student at Victoria College in 1851, when tuition was $8 per term, here are some of the regulations that you would have had to follow. And I'm quoting from the official regulations. The hour of rising is 5, of retiring 9:30 p.m. About 9 hours are devoted each day to study and recitation. During these hours, each student is required to remain in their room, except such as the faculty may find necessary to have under their immediate supervision. Students are expressly prohibited frequenting any tavern or grocery where intoxicating liquors are sold, lounging about any store or public place, or remaining in them longer than their business requires. Students are strictly prohibited from intruding upon the lands or property of the inhabitants or meddling with their fruit without permission. Habitual indolence and inattention to study will be regarded as an offense against the laws and spirits of the institution and will be made the subject of such discipline as the faculty may deem expedient. Well, you remarkable students, now living through another difficult period in our collective history, are to be commended for successfully avoiding habitual indolence and inattention to study, or at least for avoiding too much of it. and of course, for not meddling with anyone's fruit without permission. Now, let me express my deep gratitude for the work that you have already accomplished and our pride in your continued efforts. Thank you for strengthening Vic's commitment to academic excellence, intellectual curiosity, and community building. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech. I would now like to introduce Victoria University's Chancellor, Nick Saul, to offer his remarks.
As Chancellor of Victoria University, I am honored to welcome you all to today's virtual Charter Day convocation ceremony. As you've heard from President Robbins, traditions like these speak to the importance of our history as a university and provide the opportunity to celebrate milestones like the appointment of new leaders, the conferral of honorary degrees, and the achievements of our talented Vic students. Shortly, we'll be honoring Blake Goldring with a Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. I would like to take this opportunity to offer my personal congratulations to Blake on this special occasion. Since his graduation from Vic in the 1980s, Blake has been a true champion of Vic, supporting the university with his outstanding volunteerism and with his philanthropy. For all the students virtually present with us today, we hope that each of you will, like Blake Goldring, continue to play an active role in the life of Victoria University long after you graduate. Students, my warm congratulations to each of you on receiving a scholarship this year. As a Vic grad myself, I can tell you that the Vic community is a wonderful, inclusive place to learn. May your time at Vic be both motivating and rewarding. We know that over and above the financial impact of Vic's awards program, scholarships provide a huge endorsement for the hard work our outstanding students put into their studies. As President Robbins noted, over its history, many of Victoria's alumni and friends have established named awards at Vic. For all Vic's donors in this virtual audience, I thank you. On behalf of the university, for understanding the importance of supporting post-secondary education. I would like to now introduce Chancellor Emerita Dr. Wendy Cecil to confer the honorary degree.
Mr. Chancellor, Blake Goldring has long been a fine citizen of Victoria University. He graduated from Vic in 1981, but he's also an outstanding citizen of Canada, of the business and arts community, and of the Canadian military. He is a man who serves many fine organizations with great distinction. Blake's professional career is one of success, having spent over 30 years with AGF Management Limited, a premier independent asset management company with Canadian and international operations. He's now executive chairman after holding a number of positions, including president, chief executive officer, and chairman. In his professional career, Blake has been a long-standing advocate for the Canadian financial industry and has been directly involved in the Business Council of Canada, the Lawrence School for Public Policy, the Ivey School of Business, and more recently, the City of Toronto's Economic and Culture Recovery Advisory Group as its co-chair. But Blake has broad interests, so his commitments have included active involvement in the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, Bishop Strachan School, the C.D. Howe Institute, Sunnybrook Hospital, the Canadian Film Centre, Libraries and Archives Canada, the Mosaic Institute, and the Walrus magazine. He has also been a very active volunteer with the University of Toronto for decades, serving on capital campaigns and on the U of T World War I Commemorative Committee. But Blake has not limited himself to established organizations. In fact, he is the founder of Canada Company, Many Ways to Serve, a charitable organization which connects the business community and other community leaders with members of Canada's military. Blake created the program to award scholarships to the children of fallen soldiers for their post-secondary education. His work with Canada Company has also helped over 3,600 veterans find meaningful employment in the civilian workforce. He was the first person ever to be named honorary colonel for the Canadian Army. As a whole, in 2001, and he was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, Military Division, in 2009, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2012, and in 2017, the Canadian Forces Decoration CD for 12 years service. And there have been many other honors in recognition of Blake's dedicated community service. The Person of Influence Award at the 2007 Canadian Investment Awards Gala, the Order of the Diocese from the Anglican Diocese in Toronto in 2013, the Award of Merit from B'nai B'rith in 2011, the Vimy Award from the Conference of Defense Association Institute in 2014, and in 2018, he was named a member of the Order of Canada. Closer to home, Blake has stayed involved with Vic since he was an undergraduate, from 1977 to 1981. When President Emeritus Paul Gooch was creating the Vic One program, Blake was an advisor, and he has also been a very generous donor to the program. When the dream of a special place for commuter students was taking shape, Blake and his sister Judy Goldring gave the lead gift to make the Goldring Student Center a reality, and in so doing, improved the lives of Vic students beyond description. As well, he has created a number of Vic scholarships, and most recently, he gave a donation in recognition of the 40 years since his graduation. Indeed, Blake has been generous to Vic with his time, his treasure, and his very wise advice. And I can't fail to note that Blake has always been closely surrounded by terrific women. Of special note, to name but a few, his wonderful mother, Barbara, his accomplished sister and fellow Vic grad, Judy, his loving wife, Belinda, and his 3 energetic and lovely daughters, Arabella, who graduated from Vic in 2015, Serena, and Georgina. So in addition to being hardworking, smart, and accomplished, I think you could also say that Blake is a very lucky man. I met Blake in the mid-1980s, shortly after he returned from employment in Japan. One day he invited me to lunch, and he ordered in Japanese, which I must say made quite an impression. We became friends, and I learned that he too was a Vic graduate. But little did we know back then that our paths would continue to cross over the next 35 plus years, frequently as volunteers on our beloved and beautiful Vic campus. I can honestly declare that many are the people who admire and respect Blake Goldring for his dedication, his warmth and kindness, his intelligence, and above all, his absolutely sterling decency. You cannot know Blake without seeing clearly that every honor he has ever received, and there are many, is very well deserved. Victoria University is proud to call him an alumnus. Chancellor Saul, I now present to you Blake Goldring, and I request that you confer upon him the degree Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me as Chancellor of Victoria University, I hereby confer upon you, Blake Goldring, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
I request that Blake Goldring now be robed by the Chair of Victoria University Board of Regents, Cynthia Chrysler, and hooded by Victoria's 15th Chancellor.
Chancellor Saul, President Robbins, faculty, members of the Board of Regents, senior administrators of the college, I'm so honored and proud to be receiving this honorary degree today. To our distinguished guests, families and friends of our students, and most importantly to our Vic students and the Scholarship Award winners. Very warm greetings for Vic's first ever virtual conferral of an honorary degree. I have always loved to learn, perhaps in part because I'm genetically programmed that way. You see, all of my relatives on my father's side were educators. My grandfather was the head of the Toronto Board of Education. Almost all of my uncles and aunts were principals, teachers, school superintendents. You get the picture. This, of course, meant that instead of receiving model cars or hockey sticks like my friends did on their birthdays, I'd get a new thesaurus or history book and volume after volume of Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, I realize that given the age of most of you, you may have no clue what an encyclopedia is. Well, it's a set of books full of information on a wide range of topics. Remember, we haven't always had a world of information at our fingertips. After getting over my initial disappointment at receiving what I thought were nerdy gifts, I grew to appreciate them enormously. I particularly enjoyed learning about history and eventually became a great student of it. Not because of the old admonishment that you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, but instead because I wanted to better understand the experiences of those who came before us and those who shaped the world in which I lived. I came to realize that the common thread that tied many important historical figures together wasn't ego or ruthlessness or selflessness. Instead, the key theme that I picked up on was resilience. Resilience in spite of life's obstacles, in spite of the unexpected, and sometimes tragic. These men and women that I'd read about, with their ability to push forward despite all that weighed them down, inspired me and showed me what can be achieved when you suffer setbacks but commit to pushing past the adversity. Which brings me to this great occasion and this great and unique time in our history. You are on the path to earning a degree during a global pandemic. Think about that. The stress, the fear, and who hasn't felt afraid at times, the loneliness, the sense of being cheated out of the full university experience. Some of you may have even experienced the loss of a loved one. At the same time, we've also been confronted with injustice, inequity, and ignorance. Despite it all, you've demonstrated your tremendous resilience. Your continued focus and your commitment to your studies are truly commendable. It's been said that character is revealed when pressure is applied, and the pressure that you felt, that we've all felt since March 2020, has revealed much about you, and indeed, much to be proud of. Let me highlight a few important life lessons from my point of view that were both reinforced and laid bare over the past 18 months. Some of these points may not sound particularly profound, but taken together provide a great composite as you embark on this school year and prepare for your future journeys. Number one, the need to be flexible. How often over the past year and a half did your plans change due to continually altering health rules and regulations? Travel plans, personal plans, events such as today's Charter Day. We have all been challenged to be flexible. As bad as it was for you, a broader point here is that accepting change as a constant and not something to be feared or stressed over is a great life lesson. Number two, have perseverance. I want to highlight and underscore once again the importance of perseverance and resilience. As mentioned, these are qualities and traits that you have in abundance, even if you don't realize it. No doubt, one or two of you questioned sticking with your studies over the last 18 months. The challenges posed by weak internet connections, crashing hard drives, Zoom fatigue, or not being able to interact with professors or have invaluable exchanges with classmates at the Goldring Student Center. I had to get a plug-in somewhere. All of these definitely made life difficult, but you're all stronger for it. You've come to understand that setbacks are an inevitable part of life. We just need to get back up and push forward. And this experience has proven that you can. Number three, humans are social creatures. People need people. The spontaneity and idea generation that are hallmarks of the university lecture halls and student pubs have been conspicuous in their absence. The need for a community working and sharing and supporting one another became striking. Marshall McLuhan said that the new electronic independence recreates the world in the image of a global village. We saw much that inspired us during the pandemic, such as first responders and healthcare workers working tirelessly. And we saw the ugly underside ranging from severe climate change and calls to address social injustice. Ironically, It took the pandemic to focus the spotlight on issues that are now receiving long overdue and urgent attention by governments and individuals. Number 4, be inquisitive, be curious. This extraordinary period underscored how important it is to have a questioning mind and to be truly inquisitive. In my line of work, investment management, the most successful portfolio managers are the ones who ask the most intriguing and probing questions. Once you get the answers, take action, do something. A few brief examples. During the pandemic, the Deputy Mayor of Toronto asked me to co-chair an advisory group to develop a series of practical recommendations that would address inequities and the ugly side of the pandemic as we aspire to build a stronger, more inclusive and vibrant community when we eventually emerge from this ordeal. Working with a diverse group comprised of BIPOC leaders, academics, business, labor, and cultural leaders, we developed 18 recommendations, all of them endorsed by City Council and sent to the City Manager for implementation. The Toronto Star published our report, Building Back Stronger. To me, it was proof that people of goodwill, coming from diverse backgrounds, are able to work together when we agree on common problems and have a sense of urgency to tackle them. Another area I'm especially proud of ties into today's award ceremony. As I stated at the outset of my talk, I'm a big believer in education. Over time, I've been very fortunate to be able to fund various scholarship programs. The Canada Company Scholarship Fund was established 14 years ago to provide scholarships to the children of those who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving in the Canadian Armed Forces. Recently, my firm, AGF, established a new scholarship with Inspire, Canada's largest Indigenous charity, and one of my first scholarships was established right here at Vic. I want to congratulate those of you receiving scholarships today. You should feel very proud of yourselves and of your achievements. In closing, you're at the start of a new school year. Make the most of it by maintaining your sense of perspective. Don't sweat the small stuff and reflect on what really matters to you. Stand up for your principles, but be prepared to be flexible in just about everything else. Ask lots of questions and remember your experiences over the past 18 months, combined with all that you'll learn in the classroom or digitally, will equip you to be proud ambassadors for our great university and powerful, influential influencers in our community and country. But most of all, remember that you've proven to yourselves that you can get through just about anything. Just like all the people I loved reading about in my history books and encyclopedias, you too have demonstrated how remarkably resilient you are. And like them, you too will go on to shape our world. Thank you, and good luck to you all.
My name is Angela Esterhammer, and as principal of Victoria College, I'd like to add my congratulations to Dr. Blake Goldring on receiving this honorary degree. I would also like to congratulate all the students who are being recognized today for winning admission scholarships, in-course scholarships, and research awards. All of you have achieved academic excellence through your hours of study and hard work, through creative and critical thinking, and through productive dialogue with professors and peers throughout the past academic year. You've done so despite the added challenge of studying, researching, and interacting almost entirely online. Nevertheless, you persevered and finished your courses with first-class standing. Thank you for showing such remarkable adaptability and resilience. Thank you as well to the parents, family members, and friends of our award-winning students, whose support of many kinds was invaluable, especially in these unusual times. Some challenges still await us as we continue a long tradition of excellent conversation-based teaching and learning at Vic, moving back into the classroom while also using a new set of tools and technologies. Students, your talent, creativity, hard work, and mutual support are more important now than ever as we work together with leaders such as Blake Goldring toward economic and cultural recovery. The post-pandemic world will need your